For at 7 p.m. Actually, I'm gonna just wait for Ronnie to let anybody in on the.
No one's in just yet.
Okay, well, I'm gonna start it anyways at 7. It's what is this? The June meeting of the El Sobrante Municipal Advisory Council. It's an advisory board to Supervisor Joya for issues pertaining to El Sobrante because we are an unincorporated community. Thomas Lang is our chair. He is on vacation. He's in Portugal. I'm George Cleveland. I'm the vice chair. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 o'clock, and I'm going to ask Mr. Ronnie Mills if he would be kind enough to do roll call.
All right, so we already established Tom Wang and Vice Chair George Cleveland, Tom Owens.
Here.
Dr. Melinda McLean.
I haven't heard anything.
Jim Herman, I believe, is absent as well.
Okay.
Randy Lloyd.
Here.
Mickey Norris.
Is in France.
Terry Edlinger. And Jed Hart.
Okay, we have a quorum. Let's take care of the pledge of allegiance. I have a volunteer to lead said pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right, there you go. Love it. Treasurer's report, Mr. Mills.
Yes, we are sitting at $2,867.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
13 cents.
Okay, that makes sense. Very good.
It's important.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next up on the agenda, minutes from the May 14th meeting. I hope people had a chance to look at them. I would entertain a motion to accept these with any potential corrections.
So moved.
I'll second. Moved and seconded to approve these meeting minutes with any corrections. Anybody knows anything that needs to be fixed?
Jelly's place was called Jerry's place.
Oh, okay, then we want to change that. Thank you for catching that, Jed. One thing in the sheriff's office, Crane, the last name is actually, you would think it's spelled that way, like whooping crane or crane for construction. It's actually C-R-A-I-N. I know this because that's my neighbor down the street, and the sheriff's office is very, 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 very familiar with that address for more than 20 years, actually. Any other corrections that anybody sees? Nothing important, okay. In that effect, let's, the motion, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions, motion carries, very good. Let's go on to the presentation. We're gonna start with that from Supervisor John Joy, which would be Ronnie.
Yeah.
Nobody on the Zoom, that's unusual. There are actually more people in the room than on the Zoom, but it doesn't matter.
Awesome. So let's jump right in. Starting with the noise ordinance task force update. The Department of Conservation and Development, or DCD, continues to address countywide noise concerns. The upcoming noise ordinance task force meeting has been rescheduled to July 8th at 6:30 due to hosting conflicts. And so the meeting will still be held virtually and is open to the public. And for questions or you'd like to provide input ahead of the meeting, you can contact Grant Farrington at 925-655-2868 or grant.farrington, that's FARRINGTON at dcd.cccounty.us. And that information will also be on the Friday notice that goes out via email. And jumping down to our public services franchise agreement extension, the county has extended its franchise agreement with Republic Services, and additional details about the updated terms and how they impact El Sobrante. Did you catch that this time? Yes.
Well, that's the old school pronunciation, for the old school.
I get corrected every time, so.
A lifelong resident, so El Sobrante.
El Sobrante.
We get to defer to Mr. Lloyd, you know.
Oh, yes.
I've been telling everybody.
Oh, yeah. We'll be
Moved here, it's El Sobrante.
Yes, because they're having the Spanish pronunciation of the leftovers.
Yes.
Anyhow.
So information in regards to that update will be presented at an upcoming MAC meeting. And finally, committees and commissions, for all those that aren't on the MAC here or would like to serve in any additional capacity, they serve as a great way for residents to serve the community in a greater capacity. Hey! And so we have a few, but not, these are included, but not, how's the phrase go? Included but not excluded to, I don't know, my brain is applesauce at the moment. But the Assessment Appeals Board, Library Commission, and Merit Board. So if you, any of those interest you or you want to know about the full list of vacancies, you can reach out to me directly, and that information will be provided via email this Friday as well. That concludes my report.
Okay, we're kind enough to admit Michelle Reinhardt, and so we can have a fire presentation. Any questions from the MAC for Ronnie about Supervisor Williams' report? No? In the audience? No, okay. In that case, let's go to the base station update from the sheriff's office. We have a new individual, Lieutenant Holland has been gone.
Yes.
So
Welcome to.
welcome, sir, and tell us who you are and all
And on the camera for, oh,
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, there's one person on the Zoom, so you're a very small camera audience.
my name's Brian Fitzgerald, with the sheriff's office for almost 19 years now. Newly appointed as a lieutenant, in charge of base station.
Welcome Lieutenant Fitzgerald.
Was happy about my assignment and excited to be here, so, I worked a fair amount, over my stint. My career as a patrol deputy, so, but enough about me. All right, so essentially, for the month of May, right, you had 664 calls for service total for El Sobrante. And as far as kind of your notable crimes, there's 2 residential burglaries, one just kind of up the way on Apian, and the other one was on Lockley. There was 4 incidents of domestic violence, and we had 1 recovered stolen vehicle. There was a total of 58 reports drawn per month.
Oh, Mac, anybody on the Mac have any questions for Lieutenant Fitzgerald? Go ahead.
I'm Melinda McClain, not only in the back, but I'm also one of the people developing the good table at the corner of Appian and Valley View and Sobrante Avenue there, the former Adachi Nursery. You've probably driven past it. It's impossible to go through El Sobrante and not go past this at least once. And we're getting in the final stages of construction, and we're having a weird problem, and it might be a public works problem, it might be a CHP problem, but I'm gonna at least pitch it to you once just to see what you think. We have a group of semis parking in front of our space because we have this nice long place to park. And that's kind of okay, I don't really mind that, except that at about 3 o'clock in the morning, they fire up their trucks, they make all kinds of noise, and our on-site security person is finding this impossible to sleep. Even though our on-site security person has now moved, oh man, she must be like 150 yards from them now. Is there anything we can do about that? I mean, I know it's legal for them to park there, and I can't blame them, it's hard to find a place to park a semi.
Yeah, Starcasting, we have to say, shouldn't she be awake if she was your on site?
Yeah, same thing.
Well, no, she's not that kind of an on-site security person. But I just wanna, and one of those 58 reports is one that we made because she asked the guys to keep it down, and one of them threatened her. There was potentially an altercation. And we did call, and I did make a report because I felt like if we had trouble again with them on the site, then we wanted to be on record that we called before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, she's not armed response, stay up all night. She's
Okay.
on site to hear people, because we were robbed in 2022 of all of our rough electrical. And we find that cameras don't really do the thing, but knowing somebody's actually physically there, and she often has a dog. That means that, you know, people leave us alone. Because they know somebody's gonna call the sheriff.
Name of the business again?
The Good Table.
The Good Table.
The Good Table Cafe and Planting Justice Nursery, we got a great big sign there at the corner.
Yeah, as far as a criminal aspect, no, the public roadway, they're will park there. Noise complaint, it's not like they're like doing construction that would be outside of the county limits regarding the noise complaint. Be something I'll look into, but off the top of my head right now, I don't have anything that jumps out at me.
Well, mostly what we're trying to do is to get her far enough away that it's not waking her up every single night, and we're trying to mitigate having any issues with the guys. Some of the truckers were trying to meet them, they tend to park there and sleep there overnight. These are sleeper cabs, and these are not local guys, these are people who have figured out this is a place not far off 80 where they can park.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just work with them, but we've got at least one guy who's not very kind.
And it was just a verbal occupation.
It could have gone towards, she said that she stepped towards him and he decided to step back. Cause he stepped in, so it did not become something more than that.
Okay, that's, all right. Anything else from other members of the
Alright, thanks.
back? No, from the public, I have a comment in my role in the public. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
so I don't mention this to Lieutenant Hall, I don't know if you passed it on, there is I thought it was a code enforcement issue, the code enforcement said because the vehicle is partially parked on El Centro Road near Granada, it's not a vehicle, it's a trailer. And I think someone's living in it, and now it's like, it's at the back end of the trailer, it's turned into external storage and junk as well.
Zone Central and
Granada, yeah, so I think someone could take a look at that. 4025 Lambert is getting funky, a little bit funky again, they have a nice lovely beat up white Toyota Camry that expired tags and other stuff, they moved the safe a little bit, which is, it's a standing safe, it's either like a safe for money or a gun safe, I can't tell, but it's large and they moved it. But it's just, this property's been an eyesore for 20 years plus, so nothing new, that's all I have to say. Anything else from members of the public?
one other thing that I forgot to mention earlier is, so there's a growing, food vendor. Yeah, what I was told was it was on, St. Pablo Dam, close to the Dollar Tree.
Yes, yes,
Vendors.
I've seen that, yeah.
So, I guess one of the vendors is kind of having a little bit of issues, maybe not getting permits and things like that. Environmental health, contacted me, because they've been out there and had some issues with them. They are planning on going back out. I think in a few weeks, they don't have a definitive date or time that they're gonna go. But they have asked us to come with them to deal with the vendors. It's not being disappointed. So.
Thank you, and as others have said in the room, Lieutenant Fitzgerald, welcome.
Thank you.
We appreciate your presence here, we look forward to seeing you monthly. And that being said, we can move on to the next report, which is Confire, and we have Michelle Reinhardt on the Zoom, so she's unmuted herself.
Actually, I just wanted to ask one more thing.
Okay, sorry, Michelle.
Sorry, well, welcome to the neighborhood. As you know, perhaps this Saturday will be All Kings Kick Out the Clowns Day. And we have regular, you've probably seen them, Friday sign waves that we do at the corner of Appian and SPDR. I'm part of Indivisible West, Cocoa County. So we will be having a large action 1 to 3 on Saturday. And I just wanted to give you my card, because not only do we intend to be peaceful and everything else, but if you have any concerns about us, you know, you can call me, you can text me, you can, if people have, we just want to be in contact, let's just put it that way. Because we never know if, I think we're all becoming a little more aware that we could get some,
Troops?
I'm not worried about troops in El Sobrante. I'm worried about enfants provocateurs. I'm worried about jerks.
Ah,
And if we have trouble with that, you know, I'll want you on the speed dial. Because we don't wanna have anything but you know, completely legal, completely nonviolent protests. But we will be out there, and it's, you know, it's gonna be a big day, I think, for law enforcement. I feel for all of you. Do I have my cards?
Just take that one.
Yeah.
Contact.
I will do that. I'll get it for you. I can't believe I don't have any cards on me. I have everything else. And come get some food. 415-378-3193. And Melinda McLean. And it's Melinda at the-goodtable.org, that website you see there, it's that with just Melinda in front of it. Anyway, I've got your name, and I'll call base station if we have any trouble and say, please tell the lieutenant. Thank you so much.
very good. All right, and now we will go to our bonfire
Or
report
Brett giveaway.
from Michelle. Good night. Were you here last time? She was here.
No?
Okay, she gave us, where's that?
Wow.
Issues on down the road. Michelle, are you ready?
Hello, Chair. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. That was loud.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let
All
me
right.
quiet
It's
this down.
you, it's our system here. Go ahead, Michelle.
Is that better?
Yeah, yes, that is.
I'll try to speak softer and save your ears.
We-
So, 3 mentions today. First, the county coordinator grant was approved. The period of performance will be over the next 15 months. Thank you so much. Support to the community will include countywide collaboration and coordination among wildfire mitigation groups, public outreach, locating additional grant funding, and planning efforts around Zone 0 requirements and the start of the community wildfire protection planning process. Again, the CWPP is open to all mitigation groups in the county as we update that county-wide planning document that will inevitably lead to project identification and a more robust funding path forward, increasing our capacity countywide. So more to come soon, and I will keep you and the community updated as we, of course, value our community partners such as this MAC board and the residents of El Sobrante. Secondly, we are continuing our work with El Sobrante residents to increase participation in the National Firewise Protection Association, Fire Protection Association, and the Firewise program. We have 2 upcoming HOAs who will be moving forward with their Firewise application process. This will include a community risk assessment with an inspector from Contra Costa County Fire Protection District, and moving through their action plan or strategic plan for the next 3 years. They will plan their fuels reduction and education initiatives with the help of the Confire inspector and myself. And we will support that strategic plan in the next 3-year process. Finally, most importantly, thank you so much to the chair for attending the recent Richmond Fire Station open house. It was a really great event, and I really enjoyed seeing you and having that connection. It was important to me to be present for the residents of Richmond and surrounding areas. And yeah, we're going to have more events like that, but I just wanted to acknowledge the time that you and your mom took to attend that event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. It was a was a really cool event, got to see you and other people and got to meet the fire chief, Osorio, so it's pretty cool. Any questions from Matt or Michelle? Anybody in the audience have any questions for Michelle? Well, as always, we thank you for coming to our monthly meeting and giving us the CONFIRE updates. They are much appreciated, Michelle. And that's all we have for you this month. So we'll see you again in July.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So next up on the presentation is the CHP. They are not here. So the last presentation is from the director, John Kopchak of the Contra Costa County Conservation and Development. He's not here, because you are not him, but you work with him or for him. And I think what we will do, because this report kind of takes into consideration what's listed under D1.1, which is the countywide noise ordinance. We're going to combine those two into one thing. And if you would give us a presentation of the update, that'd be great, and tell us who you are, and you can stand up there and talk to our audience of one on the Zoom, because the other Zoom participant is Melinda, and she's there. So we got one person online and all of us in the room, which is unusual that there's more here than there, but go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and thank you, council members. My name is Jamar Stamps. I'm a principal planner with the Department of Conservation and Development, and I do work for John Kopchak, who's the director, my boss. I should clarify though, I've been working on the tree ordinance update. And I understand that this council received a presentation on that, exactly that table is associated with the tree ordinance update, the summary table. And you received an update on that a couple of months ago, I think. And so I'm returning today if you have any outstanding questions that I can try to answer, or any comments that I can receive before the end of our comment deadline on June 30th. Obviously, if anything.
So we can talk trees and noise.
You can talk noise, however, with the noise ordinance or any development applications, I haven't been involved in those processes unfortunately, but I can take your comments or concerns.
All right, well,
And take it back to the planners for working on this
if
project.
you could give a very brief overview of the tree ordinance.
Sure.
I know it came a few months ago, but I've forgotten probably most of it.
Yeah.
So. What is it?
You can look at that one.
Oh, okay.
And I have other copies, should I pass around other copies?
Yeah,
So if you will have them.
That would be helpful. I don't think I had one time. I don't know what. Oh.
It was several months ago, it was good. He gave a good presentation.
There's the tape. Was I here for that one?
I don't think you missed any meetings.
I don't think I was there either. Who knows?
They took the materials home from Holly.
So while Ronnie's helping me pass those out, thank you very much, I'll give a very brief overview of the materials he's passing out. So the first thing, one of the things you're gonna get is this summary table. And the summary table is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, it provides a high-level overview of the draft text and the ordinance. And it goes over, some of the things that have been plaguing our ability to administer the tree ordinance for the many years it's been in existence, since the 1990s, basically, without a single update since. So you can understand why we embarked on this process in the first place. There's a lot of outdated language, there's some provisions in there that don't make sense anymore given the times, and just some policy things that needed to be clarified so that it could be easier to administer for not only us as the county that have to work with the ordinance all the time, but also easier for the members of the public to understand, because we want an ordinance that's user friendly. We don't want an ordinance that's so full of legalese and ordinance language that, people have to continually come to us for advice or any information that could help them understand if they need a tree permit or not, or if they have a protected tree on the property. So that was kind of the whole impetus of the effort. And I can probably sum it up in 3 different categories. The first one is, what is a protected tree? In our current ordinance, it's sort of difficult to identify if you have a protected tree or not. So this ordinance, or the draft ordinance that was just passed out, it narrows it down to very simply, if the tree is a certain size, it's protected. And if it's on an undeveloped property or property that can be further subdivided, it's probably protected. And so we can go through a series of criteria to further determine that, but no longer is it determinant on species Or is it determined on other very arbitrary site characteristics, like if it's in a stand of 4 or more or something like that? It's very simply, is it a certain size? And if it is a certain size, where is it located?
If it's big and old.
If it's big and old, basically. And so to that point, segue into the second thing is, when do you need a permit? And that's another thing that's been very complicated to understand with our current ordinance. So with the new ordinance, we're hopefully trying to simplify that process and say, if you have a little tree, probably not protected, go ahead and cut it down, exempt from any requirements. If it's a mid-sized tree and the size specifications, the dimensions are in the ordinance too. So if your tree is a certain circumference, right, in the middle range, you might need a permit, come in and talk to us, you could probably get a permit over the counter and be done with it. If it's big and old, if it's a, something that people would consider maybe a heritage tree or something you can't wrap your arms all the way around, it's probably protected, you might need a permit, that's noticing to the neighbors, public hearing, et cetera, et cetera. And the ordinance that we drafted now is, it outlines that process and hopefully makes it easier for people to know whether or not on their own, if they need to go through that process or not. And then lastly, we went through a lot of the provisions for exceptions, because a lot of people want to know, if my trees that are dying, or if it's causing a hazard, or if it's destroying infrastructure, is that something I need a permit to remove? We clarified a lot of that today to say, no. In a lot of instances, if it's very obvious that, infrastructure is being destroyed, or if it's becoming a hazard, or it's dead and dying, you can go ahead and remove that tree, mitigate that hazard so that you're not, and don't worry about going through any processes. And another very, kind of present issue right now is wildfire hazard, especially in areas like this in East Richmond Heights and some parts of Central County, East County too. People want to know, can I go ahead and create this defensible space around my house, including cutting or removing trees, or, topping trees or anything like that, without having to go through a permit? And our ordinance basically says, we're trying to align it with the CAL FIRE standards and say, if your property's in a very high fire hazard severity zone, go ahead and remove those trees. We don't want you to have to try to come in and get a permit to mitigate that hazard. So we've clarified that in the ordinance too. Again, this whole effort was basically to try to create an ordinance that's user-friendly, a lot more self-explanatory and not so buried in process and things like that. Again, our comment deadline is on June 30th, and so obviously if I leave here tonight after our question and answer period, something comes up, happy to answer any questions if you want to reach out to me directly, or go through Ronnie and send him your questions and comments, and he can compile all of those and send them to me. And we'll have those on record before the end of the month, and hopefully try to address them in fact. So that was a lot of very vague, high level overview of the ordinance, but like I said, I think you probably got a lot of the details with Director Kopchik. So if I can answer any questions now though, or address any comments, I'm happy to.
Mac has a question, I have a quick one. Sure. Is this solely for the, or it's just for the unincorporated part of the county, or?
Yeah, unincorporated and private property, not the public right of way or
Okay.
utility easements or
That's
anything
my
like
question,
that.
go ahead, Belinda.
In the middle of all that, you said 3 magic words that I thought had disappeared from county public works. You said the word over the counter.
Yes.
You all are now doing over the counter permit work?
For the tree ordinance, currently no, and that's the problem, right? So if the draft ordinance gets adopted, yes, we will have a separate process for trees of a certain size that can, we call it ministerial.
Go back, I'm not talking about whether a tree qualifies.
No.
I'm talking about, can I go to Martinez and actually step up to the counter and talk to a human as opposed to go through the process, if you're doing construction or anything else in public works, of sending emails and hoping you get somebody and then wait to get a thing back, and then you send a drawing and then they send back a corrected drawing and then back and forth, as opposed to the old process before the pandemic, when you could actually walk up to a counter, put your drawing down or your request down, somebody could talk to you and you could negotiate.
Yeah.
So do you have over the counter
Yes, generally
service?
speaking, yes, we do. Our application and permit center is open to the public. Yes,
So it is reopened to the public.
it has been for a couple of years, yeah.
Just-
So you're welcome to come anytime.
Before.
You're gonna probably see me on Monday, but not on
Before Melinda had exposed. The reason that this is a bit of a surprise to us especially Melinda, it's the good table and all the permitting, all the stuff. And we've been
But it's
told-
just public works, not building department.
So I work for the Conservation and Development Department,
Right.
that's planning and building,
Right.
code enforcement, public works is a separate department.
I know.
But they also do have.
Right, we've
personal-
been told repeatedly in this venue that there isn't any OTC.
Or
service.
building.
Yeah, so this is interesting, so.
Anyway, we will follow up on that, but
Hopefully,
I have a public works issue too, so like if I have an encroachment problem, I can go talk to you that over the counter too.
you go, I don't work for Public Works, but I know their office is open to the public, so that
Okay.
should be able to be accommodated. I hope
Okay.
I'm not misspeaking.
Cause Lord, if I had encroachment problems, it would have been solved faster if we could have stood over a counter from a human.
I see.
Terry,
Do the permits pertain to fruit trees?
They can, it depends on the size of the tree. And-
Like big palm tree.
Yeah, if the trunk is a certain size, if it's below a certain size, it's exempt from the
You
requirements.
said it wasn't specific to a species.
Right.
Fruit is, that in general.
Yeah, it's, yeah, yes, exactly.
Well, what's the name?
that's very.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I guess like one thing on ordinance itself, I'm picky because I know sometimes we narrowing on the findings, the word board and 8.16.6.2, the words board and supervisor, I believe should be back.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right.
Anything else from the MAC or I've forgotten your name, I know it's Mr.
Tomorrow, that's okay.
That's my heart. Oh, anything from the audience for Mr. Stamps? Okay, well, thank you for coming here. And I thought that you would be able to chat about the noise, but that is not the case.
I'm happy to take any questions back or anything like
We're
that.
just looking for an update.
Oh, I'm sorry,
We know that
okay.
we know that there's a meeting that was supposed to happen a couple of days ago that was pushed back a
Yeah.
month. But we were thinking, just based on time that we could have an update, so maybe Ronnie, have you heard anything to John's office? No, okay.
That was
Well,
the same
this
information.
chart is fantastic.
Yes, we like
I
it.
do want to give you kudos for this chart, it is helpful.
You have one-
Yes, sir.
So do you have to verify that if somebody says, they don't need to permit if it's encroaching? I mean, anybody can tell you that, so what's the guideline for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we're not gonna be able to, we're not all seeing. We hopefully can, we'll do the best we can to make sure that we get enough evidence that, like say, for example, if somebody says, I have this large tree in my front yard that's pushing my sidewalk up. And it's gonna start, the roots are gonna start to hit my water pipe or sewer line or whatever the case may be. Obviously photographs would help, site visit, we could do that too, we have different tools in our toolbox we can use to verify the situation. So it's not just word of mouth when it's over the counter, right? We do wanna see some photos and things like that of a dying tree or a raised sidewalk. Yeah, so it's, we'll
Google
do
Street
the
View is amazing too, you can see a lot of
Exactly,
Google Street View.
we have a lot of tools available. Again, we're not gonna be able to get everybody, sometimes trees just vanish and there's not much we can do about that, other than, notice to comply, but yeah, we'll do the best we can.
Again, we thank you. for-
Michelle has a question.
Michelle.
Which one's the question?
Michelle and I have been in a few meetings together.
Hi, Jamar. The fire department's gonna be sending, fire chief's gonna be sending over an update for that ordinance also. The rest of my question can wait until after you have completed this topic, but if I could just talk quickly about the meeting minutes from the last meeting and some changes that are needed. I'm sorry, I joined maybe 2 minutes into the meeting and I think they were approved before we started talking.
Talking back minutes, you talking about our minutes, Michelle?
Yes, it was the May minutes. So I think the
But not,
No.
you can let tomorrow go.
Yeah, you're already are. No.
Be free, man, be free.
Thank you for coming and presenting to us. Okay, so Michelle, what was the
So presentation 3 at minute 44:50. It looks like the view.
You're right, I see it, it's wrong, okay, because
So-
it's talking about Dam Road and stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's still part of the sheriff's update.
is.
And I have, Ronnie, I'll be happy to send over to you exactly what my script was to assist you in updating those.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting to look at these minutes again and approve them again once Michelle submits her information to Ronnie. So, Ronnie, you just make a note that we're gonna have two sets of minutes to look at next month. Thank you for bringing that to us. Was there something else that you had for us or for Jamar, or was that?
Oh, no, that's
Okay.
it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so noise ordinance, we don't have an update other than the fact that there will be a meeting on July 8th, I believe it is now. Yes, I have the information home. I try to attend that meeting. So next up on the agenda is public comment on any item under the jurisdiction of the committee and not on this agenda. Speakers may be limited to 2 minutes. I like to start because it's something that's actually not in El Sobrante, but it's close, and it's something that I would hope that supervisor's office can find out who belongs to the property. I think it's Caltrans because it's next to the freeway. But before the El Portal accident, there's that field there, and somebody decided to torch a truck, a truck, and it's been sitting there for who knows how long, and it's been kind of pillaged as well by the homeless folks that are encamped on the hill above, that's behind the, behind either Jelly's place or the RV place, or the self-storage place that's all on that little stretch of dam road in San Pablo. But it is part of John's jurisdiction, so I emailed form to Caltrans and they acknowledge it, but who knows when they'll get to it.
Do you
So
a mobile citizen complaint?
I haven't done that yet, that's the
You know,
next
it
thing,
sometimes gets faster
I will do that.
service,
So that's
that's my opinion.
That is my public comment.
So Caltrans says that it is on there.
We don't know, I don't know, I
We
asked
don't
them,
know.
I asked them if it was, I think it is because of this location. But I'm not certain, but the truck needs to go, it's been torched and it's an eyesore and it's dangerous. So,
And whoever owns that property right there too also needs to do their weed control.
yeah, it would be helpful, it would be helpful. Okay, so are there any other public comments from the MAC members? Audience? Nobody wants to speak public comment? Okay.
I'm waiting for the announcements, and then I have an announcement.
Okay, we're getting there, so information.
Okay, I'm my business, I don't know if this is okay.
Well,
It's about SD 42.
He wants approval to see if people are interested in signing.
I'm gathering signatures.
Oh, well, that goes right here, public comment.
Public comment, that's a good place for it.
Okay, because I don't know if I'm.
Go for it, Ramon.
Yeah, I'm gathering signatures to put this SB 42 in the ballot. It's entitled California Fair Elections Act. If we gather enough signatures, we're gonna go to Sacramento and watch how the how the elected officials will vote. So I'm gathering signatures.
But what's the thing you're trying to put on the ballot?
It's
Because fair elections is pretty vague.
it's a ballot that, it's a proposal that's gonna put in the ballot for the 2026 election. It's to give candidates a fair chance to compete against big money.
I would need more details, but I can look up SB 52.
For
And I better read more.
42, I just got a call today, so
I usually don't sign any petitions for
but
initiatives,
I do have.
unless it's to do away with initiatives.
QR code, have a QR code for
Okay,
anybody
great.
who's interested.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It refers to local government.
Okay.
Oh, so it's all local elections.
Yeah, it doesn't refer to federal.
Or state elections.
It is state.
That was,
State, but
because,
most of these local.
yeah, it would be local.
It allows local entities to, and this is from what I heard yesterday, and my memory is not that so great. But it's to allow local agencies and elected boards, et cetera, to control the amount of money, publicly fund
yeah,
an election, so Richmond could publicly fund.
Richmond
local
elections.
election.
So SB 42, I take it failed in the legislature and that's why people are trying to put it on the ballot?
No, it didn't.
You have to, they want the legislature to put it on.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
That would be, as a suggestion, just so that we have a little more information, what you do, maybe you could send it to Ronnie, so that Ronnie can send it to us, so we can take a look at it, that would be very helpful.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ramon, any other public comment? Come on, you wanna say something, I can tell. No, him.
Yeah, I'm her neighbor and spoke last week about the speeding and some on San Pablo Dam Road.
Yeah.
I'd just like to bring that up to continue to push the zoning board on the speeding and the general unsafeness of San Pablo Dam Road.
Right,
With noise, speeding,
yes, this
all of
is,
these are continuing problems.
Insanity.
this, as, I don't know what you.
killed on Friday night.
Oh, that was your cat? I saw the cat.
yeah.
I saw it, that's so awful.
As we
I
said
didn't see the hit.
to your neighbor last month, that this is, how long have you lived on Dam Road or in the neighborhood? Just curious.
5 years.
Okay, this has been going on since at least since I moved to El Sobrante, which is back in 2004. And long since then, it's been a problem, we are aware of it. We do know that when we had CHP enforcement, that the problem died down a bit because everybody knew CHP was there, you drive crazy on Dam Road, you're gonna get a ticket. And they're having staffing issues, so they took that away, and as we saw, when they took it away, the problem came back, and it's the same, and it's very frustrating. One of the things that pipe dream for me is to see San Pablo Dam Road shrunk to 3 lanes, where you've got travel in each direction and a center turn lane, that's it. That's my fantasy.
And the, well,
And a bike lane.
well, the bike lane
Bike lane.
proposal would produce that.
Yeah.
So if we actually could get the bike lane thing passed and funded, which is the public works problem, is then that would happen.
Yeah, that.
But in the meantime, it's CHP and they're not here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about what Melinda was saying with the bike lane and reconfiguring the road, so it's not so speedway-like, is the lack of funding from the county to get it done. And
That's like from the state.
but we have a comment from our
Public works
public
person.
works, from the CDC.
I'll be very brief, so on that topic, we have submitted a grant application for Safe Streets for All grant, a $10 million grant, I believe.
Good.
To for the Complete Streets project on San Pablo Dam Road, and that project extends from El Portal to Tri-Lane.
Okay,
So
that's
Grow
good.
Diet, I think, is part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
So cross-
Is there anything we can do to support that application?
I think it's already been submitted, but just, continue to monitor.
Could we harass any particular agency?
It's a federal grant, so considering what's been going on in the world with this kind of
Well,
safety grants.
already out to the implementation. Well, that's gonna be.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, that's good to know, I wish, and again, this is more like pie in the sky, pie in the tree, that this particular type of road calming could be extended to downtown. Because, it's like the speed limit there is 25, and it's like, oh, well, okay, that must mean I can do 45.
We've got 80 right where we are.
I know, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
And big rigs.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other thing.
I
is,
can't cross the street.
Yeah,
No,
so it's
it's not possible.
road diet, places where people can cross the street with where they have the push button with the sensors, which they installed at the off ramp for the Hilltop Drive exit, going towards Hilltop Drive, going towards, as if you were going to the cemetery, the Memorial Park, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they have.
But that's not on the dam road.
I know that, but I'm just saying it's been installed in a place that to me makes no sense. And why would you spend money on that thing that gets you once in a blue moon, but that's a separate issue. But it's good that you have that information about a grant and we need to aggressively push that. So if you could perhaps reach out to the supervisor's office, say, hey, here's who you need to talk to try to get this moving forward, so we can spread it wide, information wide. And the people who are most affected by it, the residents of Dam Road, and have somebody they can say, you need to fix this. Because, and just say, we've had fatalities, we've just had somebody's pet run over, you know, it's just, it's a very dangerous road. And it's been that way for like at least 20 years now, at least, and there needs to be something done to it to make it safer for everybody. And not just as a throughway for people going from Richmond to Orinda or vice versa. And it includes my former employer, because what is your first name again? Beth brought last week that my former employer, East Bay Mud, has participated in the speedway, as it were.
But not the buses, the
But not the
buses are
bus.
respectable.
AC Transit,
Yeah.
well, I think that's incredibly smart. You know, when you see if you see a big rig going through, how's my driving? Tell them.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
and you shouldn't have to do that, but I think it does make a difference, and we have been, the MAC was out there, Mickey Norris and I were out there with one of your traffic engineers, one of the senior traffic engineers, to talk about the crosswalks in particular, and where we would like to see more crosswalks, and we fed that into that road diet and into that whole thing. So, I mean, the good news is, we all know what the political situation is, but $10 million to the feds is couch cushions money.
it's actually not even couch cushions, it's the lint in the sofa.
It's
big tax.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, I'm just saying, we could get lucky.
and last month, when the East Bay Mud concerns were raised by Beth.
Back up,
See, like I said, don't mind me, I was like.
it's okay, honey.
And Jen, I said I would reach out to the general managers at East Bay Mud, and I told them, hey, we've got complaints, could you let the people know?
I actually this morning, cause I spent 5 minutes videotaping, cause it's like, but when they see you with the video
Yeah.
camera, they
Works.
Fancy that.
and Ronnie's thing that there's
That's not a
supposedly
bad thing,
some machine that will project the speed limit on the way. That might do a lot.
Well,
for
we
the
have
8%
that trailer,
You know.
CHP heisted that trailer,
Yeah, we had it.
and we had it for a while, and then it got moved elsewhere.
Yeah.
We kept trying to keep it over here, but
Well, it got damaged, did it ever get fixed?
We don't know.
yes, and then we got it back, and then we lost it again.
And then it got moved somewhere.
Okay.
But I think the drivers just look at that and say, well, I know how fast I'm going.
Hey, that makes my speedometer right.
I'm 2 miles low.
Alright, so is there any other public
I
comment?
actually have one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Considering that we're always talking in circles and this isn't going anywhere, I mean, yes, everything that they're said is happening, but I think pressure needs to be put more on the highway patrol.
Yeah,
to patrol
I've
our
been
area.
calling them.
And I think and I would be happy at some point, not right now, because we're going through something, but I'd be happy to maybe form a committee that really has some teeth to it, because this is it's beyond insane, and I'm honestly sick of sitting here and hearing about everything George just said over and over and over again. You know, and our hands are tied. We can't.
we don't have hands,
Yeah.
Well,
they're even be tied.
they just kind of.
So
I can buy some
encourage you-
bullets.
I encourage all of us to put a little bit more pressure on the people that are lax in our neighborhoods and our communities lately. It's just gotten, it's insane what we're not getting and what we're paying for.
Yes, I think.
Can I just offer another thing? You know, when we do the protests, we slow the damn road a lot. Maybe we should do it on more corners.
Do it right
I mean,
in my house, baby.
Protests, and people do stop to read our really cute signs.
So I think it's.
And they slow down, so maybe we could just do people power. I mean, it's not illegal. And it's not permanent, and it won't be all the time, but we could do some kind of protest saying, everyone slow down the damn road.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I mean, so.
Yes, but not even a committee, I'm talking about a mass protest.
Go girl.
That's an excellent idea.
I'm there.
I also think that, again, we should bring this to John.
He knows,
Well, he knows.
he's very aware of it, and also I have been in communication with Monish. I tried to get him out to this month's meeting to kind of, provide a reintroduction to everyone and, about, what he does and what his office does. So we're planning on having him out, if not next month, then August.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanna get your contact information, we're gonna organize something, I
Yes,
really-
That's,
we can do that.
that's something that can be done offline, which would be
I
excellent.
know, but that's why I want your contact info.
Yeah. The other thing that I think we should do is we should, if all things go as according to plan, Melinda and I will be in a meeting on Friday at 4. And a representative from Assemblymember Wicks's office will likely be in that meeting, so we can chat with that individual to pass the message along to her. And also, I think we need to start contacting our state senator, Ardeen, to tell him about it, because he's our new state senator. He represents us, but he is based in Berkeley, and I don't know how much he knows about this, or if he knows anything about it. So,
Well, Gabe Sandoval knows all about it, and he's his rep here.
well, that's
He
good.
literally lives in Panola and commutes to Richmond, he goes down the damn road every damn day.
That's good, but it's also nice to speak to the actual representative themselves as opposed to
I
their
think-
staff. So,
That's how I
Okay.
feel about John Joya.
what's that?
That's how I feel about John
Okay.
Joya.
Exactly. Let's move on then to information items, which I guess doubles as
Love you, Freddie.
announcements. Is that, would you say that? Because you have an announcement about this, Juneteenth.
So, we are not opening on Juneteenth, and it's largely because of PG&E, and I am not going to go through why. I can just say it's PG&E and you can all just feel sad for us. And if I knew, actually, Jamar, do you know any PG&E certified electricians for underground work?
Fortunately.
Okay, I just, I'm willing to ask anybody at this point. But we are still having a party on Juneteenth, so next Thursday, 4 to 7, we're gonna have Filipino, Mexican food, live music on our big patios. It's gonna be, fun. Everyone come out, we're making progress. The church had its first church service last Sunday in the gathering space.
Yes.
And it was glorious.
And it's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so fun. Go get some food.
And
And I'll give you the digital one that y'all can put in the blast.
other announcements, since there's actually a crowd here. In September, San Pablo. In September, let's start over, in September, on September 28th, from noon to 4 at Cheese Park in Richmond, the El Sobrante Pride is having its second annual celebration. Melinda and I are on the committee that's planning it, yes, we're getting there. It's last year's, I think we detected somewhere north of 500 people for it, because it was great, it's a wonderful celebration with vendors, we had music, drag queens, singing, dancing, presentations, speeches, food, and we're gonna have petting zoo. So it was very successful, and we hope that people attend this year as well. I think it's more important even than it was last year, because I don't understand why, frankly, why people can't just be left alone. Why people believe they need to target other people, I don't understand that, but I don't understand that mindset, because it's like, it's not constructive, it's destructive. And it needs more people to show up as a form of solidarity, because it's just not right. So I'm inviting everybody, spread the word, send this September 28th, noon to 4, Cheese Park, Richmond. Only then in Richmond because we don't have event space, outdoor event space in El Sobrante to accommodate it, and that park is a really cool place to have a celebration, so. Yes, sir.
I'm happy to tell you
Oh,
that my friends and I have been painting Cheese Park
oh,
I heard that.
for the past 4 Saturdays.
okay. That's it.
We spent 2 hours from 8 to 9 or 8 to 10
Okay,
or 9 to 11, depending on the weather.
all right.
And making it look much nicer.
No more graffiti.
Well, that's
No more graffiti.
that's really a great thing.
Are the rodents still in?
The road, and actually the rodents have been upgraded to have been pink feet. It's been painted by Linda Lowe.
Yes. Any,
Don't want to be.
do you have any other items, announcements? I don't see any.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't again mention that Saturday, this Saturday, June 14th is No Kings, No Kick Out the Clowns Day.
Okay, yeah.
And from 1 to 3, we will be at San Pablo Dam Road and Appian Way. If there's a huge amount of people, which there very well could be, we have some plans to sort of, I won't call it march, I will say we will walk down the dam road to El Portal and then take those corners as well. So there could be, that. Because there's a limit to how much those corners can hold. And we ask people not to park at Oliver's because poor Oliver's has their parking lot, so please park here at the library, library's quite happy to have us. Come out for that.
Okay,
And on another announcement, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the third Saturday is the Dream Team cleanup day.
Nikki would not forgive it either of
Yes,
us.
right.
Or Ramon for that matter.
I was about to put that because on the subcommittee report, but you take care of that, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so, agenda items and speakers for the upcoming MAC meetings. You've already suggested that Manish, is that the proper name? Did I say that right?
Monish, yeah.
Manish comes to the meeting. Anything else that everyone can?
Is she with CHP?
No, this is,
Monish is with, senior traffic engineer.
Oh, right.
I can't think of anything, no, I should have mentioned in public comment, but I didn't, so maybe I'll just email it to you, Lonnie, so. Anybody else have any other agenda items you can think of for the next meeting? No? Okay, well, in that case, I'll be happy to adjourn this meeting at 7:50.
Oh my God.
7:57, excuse me. 7:57, yeah, we're done. 12 minutes late. I was close.